Good Friday afternoon, everyone. Happy to have you here joining us today for our webinar as we jump into ColorWorks digital printing program. Before we get into the good stuff, I'd always like to go over a couple of housekeeping details. First, everyone's phones are muted, cameras are off, so feel free to sit back and relax. I will tell you, we always enjoy interaction. So if you have an opportunity, pop your question into the Q&A section at the bottom of your screen, and we'll do our best to answer all the questions today. So let's meet our speakers today. Hi, my name is Heath Watson, and I am the VP of Sales, and I will be your host for today. I'll kick things off, and during the webinar, I will moderate the questions, and at the conclusion of the webinar, I will answer any additional questions. Joining us today are Mark Knight, our Director of Design. Mark will give everyone a 40,000-foot overview of the ColorWorks program. And then we have Wendy Rowe. She is our Surface Design Manager, and she's going to really get into the details today of the webinar. And if you stick around to the end, because we always like to have fun, we will have a giveaway to the first 3 attendees who answer a very tricky question. And if you answer it correctly, then you will win a ColorWorks base cloth printed on one of our base cloth fabrics. So here's my guarantee to you. By the end of today's webinar, I promise you that you will be ready to start on your first ColorWorks project. So without further ado, let me turn this over to Mark Knight to give you the big picture of the ColorWorks program.
Good afternoon, everyone. We welcome you to our ColorWorks webinar. Now, we know you have pressing schedules, so we do appreciate you taking the time to join us today. I'm going to give you the 40,000-foot overview of the ColorWorks program, and then Wendy will give you an overview of frequently asked questions that may help you in either recoloring a pattern, designing your own, and it'll just give you a little bit more in-depth information on things that we're asked or she's asked all the time. Then we're going to open the question up for the floor for questions that you may have that we may not have covered. So since launching our ColorWorks print program, some perceived myths about the program have developed, and I hope to dispel some of those for you today. Now, the first myth was that it's just too hard. The ColorWorks program is actually quite intuitive to navigate. You can order any of the patterns and colors in our design library just as you would any other print in our line. Now, the difference is you may also change the base fabric with the click of a mouse. You may upload your own pattern and color to the website, and if you need help, Wendy is available to assist you with your needs every day of the week. Now, the second myth was, well, it may just take too long, it's custom. Well, in fact, we print strike-offs and production yardage weekly. Normally, your order will be printed in 7 to 10 working days. And finally, everyone thinks it's custom. It must just cost too much. ColorWorks prints are actually very reasonably priced, with wholesale prices ranging from $29.95 for organic cotton sateen all the way up to $79.95 for 100% silk. And we do wallpaper for $34.95 a yard. And all of these come with just a 1 yard minimum. So we've also talked with our customers about frustrations that you have. And we asked, what are some of the pain points that you have, and what might we be able to do to help? At the top of the list was discontinued fabrics. Now, while the supply chain has improved since the height of COVID, shipping delays and mill closures are still not back to normal. Patterns can move from active to discontinued overnight. With ColorWorks, our digital files are archived, so a pattern in our library will always be available. Second frustration is long back orders. Most fabrics are produced outside of the United States today. Production time can be up to 12 weeks, and that's just to produce the fabric. Freight by ocean is the most used shipping method because obviously it's the cheapest, but it adds 4 to 6 weeks after the goods are produced to arrive in the States. and that's if there are no port closures or container shortages. So air freight only takes 7 to 10 days for shipping, but today that cost can be up to $10 a yard, and add that to your final cost of fabric. So that is something that is still occurring on a daily basis. Customers also have told us that sometimes it's hard to find the right pattern for a project. With ColorWorks, a custom pattern can be designed for that project by Wendy, or you may update and upload your own desired pattern to be printed. Now, sometimes the correct pattern can be found, but it's not printed on the desired base fabric. With ColorWorks, you can print any pattern from our design archive or your own custom design on any of the 15 base fabrics or our wallpaper ground that you choose. The final frustration is not being able to find a fabric with the desired colorway needed for the project. Any of the patterns in our ColorWorks design library or a custom design can be recolored to match the color scheme needed for your job. So what is ColorWorks? Well, ColorWorks from RM COCO is a to-the-trade, print-on-demand service that allows you to add colorful designs in an array of fabrics using direct digital processes, as well as a wallpaper substrate to print as well. There are so many benefits to ColorWorks program. Here are just some of the important ones that I think you would want to know about. Quick print turnaround. We've already talked about that. It means no more waiting around for long back orders. ColorWorks allows you to print your perfect design and colorway for just 1 yard minimum. We print your design at high resolution for unsurpassed detail, and we offer color palettes with over 2,600 color shades from which to choose to print your perfect design. Receive your print orders in just 7 to 10 business days. You take complete control of the creativity with ColorWorks, whether it's recoloring or rescaling one of our patterns or creating a unique one-of-a-kind design of your own. ColorWorks products are produced in our own print plant in the United States for quality that you can trust. And finally, no ColorWorks pattern or color will ever be discontinued. We promise that. So how does the ColorWorks program work? There are 4 easy options. Choose an existing ColorWorks pattern and colorway and print it on the master base cloth, or you may choose any of our base fabrics or the wallpaper ground that you wish. You may also use an existing pattern and custom color or rescale the design to suit your needs. We have also introduced a ColorWorks digital library, which offers even more designs that can be custom colored and scaled for your special project. You can become your own print designer by uploading a custom design to print on fabric or wallpaper. You still need help? We're always available to assist. ColorWorks prints may also have any of our textile finishing services applied to them after printing for an additional charge. Treatments range from green shield to add a performance finish, NFPA 701 for drapery, or NFPA 260 for upholstery for commercial applications, just to mention a few. So how do I choose colors for my design? You will need a ColorWorks color palette. Each of our base fabrics, as well as our wallpaper, have their own unique color palettes. Each contains over 2,600 colors from which to choose. Underneath each color box is a combination of letters and numbers. This is the hex code. Our print machine uses the hex code in order to formulate each color used to print a pattern. The price of the palette is just the cost of 1 yard of the base fabric or wallpaper that you've selected. So that means if you choose organic cotton sateen, you would pay the price of $29.95, the cost of 1 yard of cotton sateen. If you print on silk, that would be $79.95. If you print on wallpaper, $34.95. Now, we suggest for a color design or base fabric change that you order a 1 yard approval sample, as computer monitors vary greatly, and you cannot be assured that what you see on your screen is actually what will print on the fabric. You can also not assume that a color printer will accurately depict what you will see on fabric or wallpaper. Custom fabric cannot be returned, so it is always best to obtain an approval sample before placing your final order. Each palette consists of the same color assortment. However, it is strongly suggested that you select colors from a color palette printed on the ground fabric or wallpaper that you plan to use for your final order. Here's why that's so important. Each of these fabrics have been printed using the exact same colors, but each one is printed on a different base fabric. As you can see, even with the same color formulations, each ground takes color differently. The only way to really know how a color will print on the base fabric you plan to use is to select colors from a color palette printed on that ground. Now, you will also want to order a base deck. This deck includes all of our base fabrics and the ColorWorks for the ColorWorks program, as well as a sample of the wallpaper ground. It's all included in the deck, and it's just $16.95. Want to print your own artwork? Our website will quickly help you do this in 3 easy steps. You must confirm that you own the copyright or have written permission from the copyright holder to print your design. For more information about ColorWorks program or to order memos, a base deck, which also includes a sample of the wallpaper ground, or color palettes, just visit our website and click on the tab at the top of the page marked Custom Printed Fabric and Wallpaper. An overview of the entire ColorWorks program along with the most frequently asked questions can be found under this tab. If you select View All Patterns, you will see the most current ColorWorks design library. Click on a specific pattern and you may order a memo of any for each of the patterns and colors. Now, memos are printed on a master base fabric, so all memos for a pattern will come on that master fabric. If you would like to see that pattern on a different ground, you would want to do a 1-yard print on that specific ground. So now you have that 40,000-foot tour of RM COCO's ColorWorks program. I'm going to turn the presentation over to Wendy for today's special topics, and then we will take your questions at the end. We appreciate you coming today.
All right. So in the beginning of my part of this presentation, you're probably going to hear a lot of repeated info that Mark just said, because I have a lot of ColorWorks one-on-one frequently asked questions. So bear with me. I always get what the minimum order is. It's 1 yard. We already heard that. How long does it take to print? We heard 7 to 10 business days. This does vary depending on several factors. If I can speak, geez. It determines when the order is placed, the timing of the submission, the stock level of the base fabric, total yardage, print room schedule, and then if there's any scheduled printer maintenance, holidays, weather, etc. The how ColorFast or ColorWorks fabrics, they're among the highest quality prints available on the market today, offering superior resistance to fading, cracking, or bleeding with UV fastness. They're perfect for home decor applications. Is the printing process ecologically responsible? And ColorWorks is printed using state-of-the-art printing technology that's extremely low waste and energy efficient. Our process generates 0 wastewater, and many of our base fabrics are organic. Are ColorWorks fabrics child safe? Yes. And then I never know how to say it right. Is it Oikotech? How do you say that, Mark?
It's a Oikotech.
Oikotech. That word. Standards and GOTS certified inks allow us to boast a child-safe experience for our customers with 100% non-hazardous and toxin-free direct print process. All that stuff. All good things. Then we get into Copyright, my favorite subject. So, what is copyright law for artwork? Once a piece of artwork is created, copyright protection lasts for the life of the artist plus 70 years after their death. That's a long time. So, once artwork's created, I mean, it's protected. But if you change it by 30%, you can avoid copyright infringement, right? No, that's a common myth. So if I copied any portion, no matter how small, of another artist's work, I would run the risk of infringement no matter how much I changed it. Can a colorway be protected by copyright? Nope. If there's a pattern with a color combination you love, we can use it. Just use our color palette to color match the colors from that fabric, and we can mimic that colorway, no problem. If I send you artwork, do I retain the copyright? Yes. If you send us print-ready art, you'll retain the copyright on that design, and RM COCO will only print the design for you. If I send you a design file that requires modification by RM COCO to become print-ready, who retains the copyright? If you're not sending print-ready art and RM COCO has to put design time into the design to make it print-ready, then we retain the right to the new modified print file, but you retain 100% rights to the original artwork. So the print file is strictly kept under your account and will never be included in our print library, but you can't take the print file elsewhere to be printed, if that makes sense. Now, if I provide an idea for a new custom design and RM COCO creates a new design based on this idea, who retains the copyright? In this case, RM COCO retains copyright of the new artwork and can include the design in their print library. So if we create it from scratch, then we own it. Is it possible to reproduce an out of stock or discontinued pattern from RM COCO or another print source? We can't copy any design where we don't own the copyright or have written permission from the copyright holder to print. We can create a new design with a similar feel and colorway, but out of stock and discontinued patterns are bound by copyright law and can't be reproduced without written permission from the original copyright holder. Is it possible?
Wendy,
Oops, sorry.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Can I expand on that one real quickly just for our customers? Because I think a lot of times we have them reach out to us and say, hey, this is an exclusive RM COCO fabric, and that is correct. We are the exclusive distributor of that pattern, but we do not have copyright ownership to those patterns that we're selling exclusively. So we cannot we can't print anything that looks exactly like that. The only thing that we can reprint and manipulate would be the the patterns that we have in the ColorWorks print gallery. Okay. So
Right.
just wanted to make that distinction because we have a lot of people say, hey, it's an exclusive fabric. Even if it's an exclusive RM COCO fabric, we cannot copy it.
Right. Which is where I was going.
Oh, sorry. Yep, right there.
Is it possible to recolor any exclusive pattern in the RM COCO fabric collection that is not a pattern in the ColorWorks brand? Usually the answer is no. Patterns in the ColorWorks brand are the only patterns to which we own the copyright to and can produce or alter. RM COCO has the distribution rights for all other exclusive patterns in our line, but we don't own the copyright to these patterns and can't reproduce them. Is it possible to recolor any pattern in the ColorWorks brand? Yes. The majority of our designs can be recolored using the online recolor tool with no additional fees. Any designs that require assistance from our design studio will have a design fee associated with the recolor process. The design fee is determined by the complexity of the design and the amount of color changes. If you do not need assistance, simply use our online recolor tool and order your fabric. Now we get into hex numbers, which Mark already touched on. They are, every color has a formula that is needed to reproduce that specific color. The hex number is a 6-digit combination of letters A through F and numbers 0 through 9 that represent the formula needed to create a specific color. Can you print a solid color? Yes. We can print any solid color on any of our base fabrics. It's a great option when you can't seem to find the right color for a solid color for a project. You can use our color palette to get a perfect color match and simply enter your chosen hex code into our easy to use recolor tool. Can I print multiple test colors? Yes. If you're trying to get a perfect color match, use our swatch color sampler. Through our recolor tool, you can select 6 different colors that we will print on a yard of your selected base fabric so you can be sure you're getting the exact color you're looking for. I highly recommend this when you're trying to do a specific color match. Use that sampler pattern so you can choose kind of those 6 colors in that area on the palette so you can compare and find that perfect shade to get that exact match. Then we get to base fabrics. What is the maximum printable width of your fabrics? 54 inches is the maximum printable width, which is why it's important to remember to have your horizontal repeat be divisible into 54. So whenever your repeat steps across, it'll repeat evenly and the ends can marry up. So repeats of the horizontal repeats need to be like 2, 3, 4.5 inches, 6 3/4, 18 inches, 27 inches, that sort of thing. What's the max printable width of your wallpaper? 27 inches. So same thing, has to be divisible into 27. Does your wallpaper come trimmed or untrimmed? Our wallpaper currently ships untrimmed on 44-inch rolls. Is your wallpaper sold by the roll? No, wallpaper is printed on demand and sold by the yard, minimizing waste by allowing you to order precise yardage for the job. Can ColorWorks fabrics be treated for performance or FR needs? Yes. Mark already kind of touched on those different treatments that you can use. Can any of our base fabrics be used for upholstery? Yes, but only 4 have tested to perform well post-printing for this purpose. And those 4 are the Portside Cotton Duck, Sail Away, Organic Cotton Sateen, and our Villa. Color palettes. So if I have a cotton sateen palette, can I use this color palette when selecting hex numbers for all my projects? No. For accurate color selection, you need to have a color palette printed on the base fabric you're going to be printing your project on. As Mark showed in that previous slide, the inks, each fabric takes the inks differently. So it's highly recommended. I mean, you can use the same palette for everything, but you're going to be going through a lot of strike offs. So it's definitely more economical to just get a new palette for each project. Why are color palettes important? Like here's an example. Here I have the digital hex number or the digital color with that hex number. So there's the digital version of the color. And then that image again with all the different fabrics. And they're all kind of just different. You can kind of see. So the digital proof versus the strike off. And this is the digital proof for color approval? No. The digital proof is for design and layout approval only. The strike-off sample is for color approval. Why don't the colors in the digital proof look like the colors I selected from the color palette? You're unlikely to ever have a perfect match between your monitor and print. Why? because the image on your screen and the printed image are created by two completely different mediums. A monitor starts in a black state and is illuminated with RGB, red, green, and blue, to produce colors. Printers start with the white print base and add CYMK, cyan, magenta, and yellow, and black ink to produce colors. It's like when you walk into an electronics store and they have dozens of TVs all displaying the same video, but the color is slightly different on each one. Same with computer monitors. Each one is calibrated differently. So, custom designs. Is there a design fee? Yes. The design fee is $80 per hour, but it's quoted in 15-minute increments. How are design fees quoted? Design fees are quoted by the complexity of the project. Once a determination of estimated design time can be made with the information provided by the customer, no design work will ever start until a signed design form is returned to the designer. If we don't like the digital proof, can we decide not to print the custom fabric? You can. However, once you have signed a design form, you are still locked in for the designer's time, regardless if you ever go to print. So you do have up to 2 edits included in the initial quote. We always will do our best to make the design work. I always recommend at least trying the strike off before throwing in the towel. Sometimes it's amazing how much better something looks printed on the textured fabric versus that flat computer image. And of course, never judge color by the monitor color. That's what the strike off is for. And can designs be railroaded? Yes. And then we get to, how do I upload my own artwork? So you can submit a print ready file. It just must meet the following criteria. You need to have own the copyright or have written permission from the copyright holder to use said image. The color profile should be Adobe RGB 1998. The resolution needs to be between 150 to 300 dpi. The format to upload on our website needs to be a JPEG or PNG less than 20 megabytes. If you email directly to ColorWorks at RM COCO, it can be a PDF, TIFF, PSD, AI, JPEG, PNG, whatever, pretty much. And you can do a WeTransfer, Dropbox, Google if it's a large file. And the image must be able to step out into seamless repeat vertically and horizontally when tiled. So that's it. That's all I got.
Great. So if anybody has any questions about the first section where Mark gave you the 40,000-foot overview, or if you have any additional questions, need clarification from Wendy and the questions that she gave that she typically gets from customers, now would be the time to ask those questions and we'll do our best to answer them. And it may be Wendy and Mark, you did a phenomenal job today.
One thing I would point out before anyone starts calculating how much a design fee is going to be on say a discontinued fabric. Sometimes you don't even have to go that far. If it's say a Jacobean Tree of Life that you're wanting and you're wanting a specific colorway, you can pick a Jacobean Tree of Life design from our library and just feed in the colors from the discontinued fabric. Sometimes that's all you need to do. It'll give you a simpler enough look. You'll be copyright protected. You don't have to worry about copyright. And sometimes that's all that needs to be done. And you can do that on the recolor tool on our own site.
Yeah, it's amazing what this same colorway can do for a design.
Okay, well, if there are no questions, I know it's Friday. You're probably looking to wrap up the day. So again, thank you.
Please review the base cost again, which which base cost?
I'm sorry, Wendy, what were you saying?
There's a question, so I was just
Oh,
saying.
no, that was a question I had sent internally.
Oh.
So no questions. All right, so again, thank you. So I promised you, if you stick around to the end of today's webinar, I'd be willing to give the first 3 attendees who answered the question correctly a free base cloth. And so the question today is, what is the name of the digital printing program that we talked about today? What is the name of the digital printing program that we talked about today? The first 3 people to answer that question will win a ColorWorks base cloth. And I will make it even a little bit easier. If you could tell us today on this ColorWorks webinar that we did, what is the name of the digital printing program that we have talked about today? And that must be a tough question today.
I'll make it easier. It's called ColorWorks.
It's called ColorWorks. So the first 3 people that can type in ColorWorks, if you would like to have a base cloth to be able to start your first project, type it in and we will get that sent out to you. All right. So I see some stuff coming through. So we will get those to the first 3 people to answer the question. Also, before we finish up today, in addition to the ColorWorks print program, I just want to let you know that we have a full line of beautiful decorative fabrics. We also carry 7 different hardware collections. We have trims, and we also have a national workroom that we can fabricate all kinds of custom products, from draperies to bedspreads to shades to top treatments, pillows, and other decorative accessories. So if you have any need for those, please reach out to us and reach out to your local sales representative. If you do not have one in your area, or you do not know who your sales rep is, feel free to email me at Heath Watson, Heath Watson, Watson, all one word, at rmcoco.com. And I'll be happy to help you if there's no rep currently in your area, or I will direct you to the appropriate person you need to speak with. So thank you again so much. Everybody have a great rest of your Friday and have a wonderful weekend. And we look forward to seeing you next time.
Thank you.
Thank you.